From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Tony Ann.
Pixie Dusted. Have you ever been pixie dusted while visiting the parks? Stay tuned for some incredible pixie dust moments while visiting Walt Disney World, episode 398.
Hey, Dave.
Tony Ann.
Hi. So?
You're looking good. Whatever you're doing. Maybe you should
I
have...
have to go out in public again today. You keep recording on days when I have to go out in public, so I have to clean myself up.
I think you need to visit Tennessee and go in the hospital more often.
Oh,
you're glowing.
No,
you're absolutely
I'm never
glowing.
going back to Tennessee. Never.
No, okay. Well.
You got it. Even if you gave me free tickets to Dollywood.
You wouldn't do it? Okay. No. I love Tennessee. I love Tennessee.
I love Tennessee, too. I used to want to move to Tennessee. Me and Rich one Thanksgiving, when the kids were little. They were little. We went to Tennessee with the intention of finding a house to move to. I had a job interview. It was Thanksgiving weekend, so I had a job interview lined up for the Friday after Thanksgiving. We drove up on Thanksgiving. We had our Thanksgiving dinner at a Wendy's rest stop.
He didn't. And, man, he pulled out all the stops on that one, didn't he?
Yeah, and Dominic was a baby. He was little, and I went for a job interview the next day, Friday, and they offered me just a pittance of what I was making in Florida.
Oh man! And
the sales tax was like 10%, and so and I said I can't. That's and the realist, we were looking at houses. They were more expensive than the houses were here, but they wanted to pay me a lot less, like a lot less. And they were trying to tell me that the cost of living was cheaper there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
that
like,
whole thing. Yeah.
No, it's not. No. It's not that much cheaper. I don't live, because they pulled up like Miami and Orlando to show me. And I'm like, I don't live in Miami or Orlando. Yeah. I live in, a little town. And so we didn't move to Tennessee.
Oh, I know. You're still here. Yeah.
That was actually before I even had an annual pass.
Wow.
So it was a long time ago.
No, it's a pretty state. Yeah.
My dad was still alive. So I went to the doctor today and he told me, because I started in a little teeny hospital and they couldn't even do what they needed to do to help me. And they moved me to Nashville. It was like a 40-minute ambulance ride. It was miserable. And I said, if they didn't move me to Nashville, I probably would have died. And he said, yeah, you probably would have.
Oh.
Because this little dinky hospital couldn't even do a minor procedure.
Yeah.
So it was,
I get
bad.
that. I know. When we lived in New Mexico, the same thing. We lived in a little bitty town in New Mexico, and the hospital was like the size of like a CVS, a Walgreens.
So I just have a little bit of news. Today, it's Monday, I got an email from Disney saying everything you need to know as a pass holder previews of Test Track, presented by General Motors. Test Track officially opens on July 22nd, if you don't know. It's going to be a busy week because the new nighttime parade starts on July 20th. So Test Track officially opens on July 22nd. Pass holder previews will take place on July 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, and 19th. So notice, not the 17th. There will be no previews on the 17th. So the 13th through the 19th, but not the 17th. And it'll be virtual queue. So you have to make a park reservation. If you're a pass holder, you have to make a park reservation. And then at 7 a.m., you can try to get on the virtual queue. And then later, they'll do one at 1 o'clock too. So it says you do not need to have entered the theme park to join the virtual queue. So, pass holders only, July 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, and 19th. I like that they're doing it this way with the VQ versus the mad rush for all of us to try to get on the website at the same time, and then it sells out in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think this is better because we have time that, to learn about it. Like usually, like for Pandora, we got the email the day of saying, join starting at 10 o'clock. And we all tried to get in and join at the same time.
Yeah.
So this is, a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. I could not care less about Test Track.
Test Track? Well,
Yeah.
I'm seeing that the things I've heard are good. And they've gotten rid of the design your own car. They said that slowed down the queue doing that. And
Yeah.
the storyline has changed, so it doesn't make
Okay. Well, I'll give it a go. See how it is.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm rushing to. It's not necessarily, I'm not,
Yeah, well, I just said to my friends that it's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. There's no, so
Right.
if you don't get to do this, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Because I'm not going to be able to do it.
Well, anything to make that boring ride better. So good.
We'll see.
I can do that in my car. I can go 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, put
Yeah,
my
I
head
know.
out the window and all that bumping and going and turning real sharp. Okay. Wah, wah. It's like a carnival ride. It's like, really?
Well,
So-
kids like to drive on the Tomorrowland Speedway too, so.
Well, that's kids. Yeah. They need to think more about the adults. Get rid of all those kids. Yeah. Well, hey, maybe it's going to be, what are they calling it? Test Track 3.0?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's elevated. Test Track elevated. We'll see. Maybe it'll turn out really good. And I'll be like, hey, that was pretty good, Disney. Way to go. Don't have a great hope that it's going to be great, but we'll see. All right, Tony Ann, anything else? Any other news?
Not really. I mean, not really.
Okay. We posted on our Friends of the Disney Crush, our Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
That's Friends of the Disney Crush on Facebook. Join us.
Right.
We have a good time over there. And we have talked about this, I think, years ago on one of our shows. But the thing about this topic, which is pixie dust, is a lot of people have gotten pixie dusted since then. And we have some really cool stories.
Cool.
So I know we've been going for quite a few years. And I've been pixie dusted many times. I know you have. It was interesting to hear these stories.
Pixie dust can happen on so many different levels. It could go from getting to ride something twice. Like maybe you go to get off and the cast member says, "Did you like it? Do you want to ride again?" And they let you go through. Mm-hmm. Or it could be something big, like a hotel upgrade. Like I've seen people who are, staying at All Stars and they get upgraded to the Grand Floridian.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen often. And that, I see a lot of people on Facebook that are asking like, what are my chances of getting upgraded? Very little. It's very, very, very little. You have very little chance of getting that kind of upgrade, but it does happen.
Yeah, I have a suspicion that a lot of that, when that happens, I could be wrong. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of times it's maybe they don't have your room. Something's going on with them internally, and they just figured we're going to put them over there, and it's going to do two things. It's going to make them very, very happy, and it's going to help us out because we just can't get them in where they've have their reservation at.
Right. Did we hear from Wendy Fox in this thing? Because she's got some.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you just said that it could be something very small, which is fine. I mean,
A bottle of water.
It's happened to us. We were at a parade, and I think there was like 10 of us there. I had my daughter and grandkids. A cast member was right by my daughter, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she said, "Oh, it's just so hot."
Right.
She goes, "It's just so hot." And he goes, "Oh, well, hang on a second. Hey, how many people are in your group?" He probably regretted asking her that because she goes, "Oh, I think there's like 10 or 11 of us." He goes, "Hang on a second." He left and came back. He came back like a little baby, cradling all these waters and handed them to us, which was really cool.
Yeah. I was in Epcot one day when it was really, really hot. We were at Food and Wine. We were all there. And there was a cast member. It was like brutally hot and people were passing out. We had seen the EMTs twice that day when we were walking around World Showcase. And so we were across from, where were we? You know where Test Track is, where there's usually some booths there right after. Between Test Track and Mexico, there's usually a few food booths behind the creation shop. There was a cast member standing there just handing out waters, like handing out bottles of water.
Well, good.
One day, because it was so hot. And I think Disney just was doing that to encourage people to drink. Sometimes they send them out there and say, give the people water. I think sometimes they do it on really, really hot days.
No,
I actually had that happen one other time. I was at a food booth and the cast member gave me a water because she said it's really hot, and she was giving everybody at the booth bottles of water too. So I've had that happen more than once. There's also the pixie dust that other guests give people, and that's a little controversial because, like, I've had somebody offer Michael something, and when I looked at what it was a bag of glitter. And I really don't want a bag of glitter in my house because, it gets in everything. So there's different levels of pixie dust. So.
Well, yeah, because Michael, he likes to take cookies and candy and shove it in his pocket for later. And you would have found that pixie dust when you were going to do laundry.
All over my laundry because it would have been, the bag would have been in his pocket when I did laundry.
Cookies, one thing, but glitter can be a real pain in the, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to hear what some of our friends on the Friends of the Disney Crush had to say?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, David, we want to talk about what our Friends of the Disney Crush said about pixie dust. So Leona, who's my daughter, she said she has 2. When we checked into a Disney hotel, I was given a birthday badge and a pen to fill in my own name. When I wore it to the parks, an employee at one of the shops was appalled that I was made to fill it in myself and whipped out a fresh pin and a set of pens and made me a beautifully decorated, elaborate pin. And another birthday, I was wearing that pin and a man at a food stand gave me a free cookie. I also remember, she didn't post this in here. It was her birthday. We went to see Hanson, and the next day we were in Hollywood Studios and we were in a shop, and a cast member started singing to her. I actually have it on video. She started singing happy birthday to her and in the store. That was a good birthday trip for her.
How was her voice?
I don't know. It was a little old lady.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just asking. I went to a bathroom years ago. I went into a bathroom one time, the men's bathroom.
I remember that.
And you know what I'm going to say. And one of the cast members was in there cleaning up, and he just was singing. The acoustics in the bathroom are great.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, he was so good. I just stood there and listened to him. It was really cool. Amy Beckner, our friend, says our first ever trip, the one we thought would be our only, we arrived at Animal Kingdom Lodge for check-in and were quickly whisked away to the club level concierge, given drinks and shown to the club level lounge. Wow. It was amazing, and it ruined me because now your expectations are like, is this going to happen all the time?
Yeah, that doesn't happen all the time.
No, it hasn't happened to me.
No. Jamie Lynn Harb said, my husband and I were asked if we wanted to be in the Jam and Jungle Parade at Animal Kingdom years ago. Remember that parade? The kids were little when we went.
No, I don't like parades.
You don't like parades?
No.
I know, but we did go with the kids when they were little. We got to ride in a float in front of Rafiki. I was just looking around at one of the shops, don't remember which one, and a cast member walked up to us and asked. We were backstage getting ready, and we also saw Joe Rohde while we were back there. So they got to be on a parade float with Rafiki.
Forget the float. Forget all that. Joe Rohde, man. I'd have been taking selfies and getting his autograph, and if he wanted to mentor me, something. And you know what I would have asked him? I'm like, dude, what's up with that earring? Can you explain the earring to me? What's up with the earring?
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it looks pretty heavy. I mean, does he add something like every year to it, you think? Maybe?
I don't know.
Jeff Kessler says, we were staying at Art of Animation one time and had booked a standard Little Mermaid room. When we checked in, they saw we had 2 kids and upgraded us to a Cars suite. Still shockingly, my kids' favorite resort stay.
Nice.
Well, I always talk about not bringing the kids, but in this case, this one helped when you brought those kids.
Yeah,
See?
you got upgraded.
Yeah.
To steerage. That's my husband's least favorite resort, Art of Animation. He calls that steerage because it's very dystopian. The hallways, because it's internal hallways, which is fine, but it really does look like, I don't know, like a Eastern European end of the world. It's not very, I don't know, but he calls it steerage.
Yeah,
he does
talk to
not
him
like
about
auto
that.
animation. And we were in the Cars building, so that didn't help it.
No, didn't help him, huh?
But Melody and Andy like it, so that's all that's important.
That's all that matters.
My favorite Kesslers.
Mm-hmm.
Holly Austin said, we were at Animal Kingdom during our honeymoon. We both had on our happily ever after buttons and were getting our paper fast passes at the kiosk for a return time for Kilimanjaro Safari. The cast member whisked us through the exit and to the front row of the next loading vehicle. So they went from the fast pass machines all the way to the front of the line.
Oh, sweet.
Because it was their honeymoon.
See?
Before they had kids.
So the kids didn't help him on that one. Okay, well.
No.
Okay, now we're back to square one. Okay. Rachel Miller says, one time I went to the margarita stand in the boardwalk to buy a cup of cheese for for a friend of hers and ours, Amanda Bond, who had half a pretzel in her fanny pack.
She had half a pretzel in her fanny
What's up with a half a pretzel in there? Just to pick
Michael.
on? Just to pick on every now and then. Yeah, like a Michael. When I ordered it, the guy didn't even charge me. I felt that I really scored on that one.
Yeah. Amanda said, what can I say? My girl treats me right. I'm not ashamed to admit that while I don't eat pocket cheese, I will partake in a backpack egg roll or a fanny pack pretzel. Who among us would judge me for this?
Nobody.
The pocket cheese. I had pocket cheese when we were at the Princess 5K. That morning, I didn't have time to eat breakfast. I stuck a string cheese in my pocket and it fell out of my pocket while we were waiting. And Jenwin goes, "Oh, you dropped your cheese?" So that's referencing that I had pocket cheese.
Hey, it's just cheese. Yeah. It makes it a little soft when you carry it around for a while too.
Yeah. Like at the end of Ferris Bueller, do you want a gummy bear? They've been in my pocket all day. They're nice and warm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a good one here.
Okay.
Our friend Shelly says, Pixie Dust, in itself, I was able to score 4 nights for my birthday at the Grand Californian.
Mm-hmm.
Through DVC points. When we arrived, our room was experiencing engineering problems. Oh, that's a good one, guys. You mean the toilet overflowed? Okay.
Maybe.
So we were upgraded to club level for the entirety of our stay. I had a great birthday.
That's great. Yeah, it's really rare unless you own at Grand Californian to get in. That's why she said that's Pixie Dust in itself, because at the 7-month mark, it's notoriously difficult to get in at the Grand Californian. If you don't own at the Grand Californian and you can't get it at the 11th month, if you have to wait till the 7-month mark, it's hard because there's not that many rooms.
So that was a great score for her then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she got upgraded to club level.
Nice.
Tom Ellison got pixie dusted at Cosmic Rays. Tatum was having a tough time and didn't want to eat, so a cast member brought over some kind of frozen drink, one for Tatum and one for John. So they got frozen drinks.
The cast member brought over some kind of frozen drink. He probably had the frozen drinks with some floaters on there to get those kids to calm down. Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm going to help you out, dude. I see those kids going a little crazy there. I'm going to get them wound down a little bit. Our friend Laura Nothnagel, she loves pixie dust stories. They're her favorite. I had my first Universal one, Troll Dust, a few days ago. Rope dropped Hagrid's, but it was insane. It was instantly an hour and a half line. It got up to 3 while we were waiting. A lot of people were a bit crabby about that, considering we rope dropped, but I was goofing around with the cast members, and we went to get off. I cracked a dad joke, and they asked if my friend and I wanted to go again. And she said no. No, she said absolutely. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That
See?
is. You
That's
get
a
to
good
ride
one.
twice. This is the one that I was talking about earlier. Wendy Fox got upgraded from a 2-bedroom villa to a Polynesian bungalow. And it ended up, she wound up getting a refund because her 2-bedroom villa there was something wrong with it. So they refunded her the DVC points and put her in a poly bungalow.
Wow, that's pixie dust elevated right there.
And she's also been upgraded. I remember they were staying at Bay Lake Tower a couple of years ago after a cruise, and I think they got upgraded to a 3-bedroom. It's like 2 stories in the Bay Lake Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few stories from her about that. She's been pretty lucky with upgrades every now and then.
Yeah. I think upgrades are more common if you're just going for 1 or 2 nights and they just, I think if you're going for a week, it's less likely that you'll get your room upgrade. Sometimes it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I think shorter stays are more likely to get that type of pixie dust upgrade. But I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I'm sure occasionally it's going to happen and they're going to give them a week stay or whatever. But yeah, going back to what I said earlier, I think that kind of plays into it. And if it's a day or two, yeah.
Like if the air conditioning's broken,
right?
They'll, who's here for one night? We gotta fix this room.
Yeah,
and
let's upgrade them.
Take somebody who's only going to be there one night and give them the deluxe room.
Exactly. Our friend Laura Nothnagle's back again. She said she did a Universal one, so I think she decided she'd better do a Disney one. My favorite Disney one. My husband is a huge Star Wars fan. Started showing our eldest the first trilogy at 2 days old and had been talking up Star Wars to him forever. They went to ride it. I couldn't because I had baby 2 on board and did not realize there was a height requirement our preschooler did not make. They looked devastated. A cast member told them to hold on a minute, then arrange their own private flight in a ship where they turned the motion off, then presented him with a certificate commemorating their private flight. That is still on my now college grad's wall.
The kid was too short to ride Star Tours, so they let them into their own room where they just showed the movie, I guess. They didn't do the motion.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
That's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Marianne, the horrible New Year's Eve at the Poly. After having to park at Magic Kingdom because people had taken over our lot. Don't do this, people. People pay a lot of money to stay at the Poly. The return trip to the Poly from Magic Kingdom parking was almost an hour. When we finally got there, I had a tired 8-year-old and a very tired Gaga. That's what they call grandma and her family, who was doing chemo. We went to Captain Cook's to get dinner. It was over a 90-minute estimated wait in line. Again, all the fireworks visitors. We walked past some cast members and asked about options since we were staying there. I knew my family could not wait that long. After hearing about our adventures in getting back to our hotel that evening, the suite manager brought us Captain Cook's menus and sent us with wristbands to the pool deck. We were the only people staying at the Poly. Where only people staying at the Poly were allowed. He delivered dinner to us there and Mickey treated us. It was such a nice gesture after a really awful evening. After supper, Katie swam, Mom got ready for bed, and I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Still thankful for that cast member who noticed our frustration and asked how they can help. Yeah, so this week is 4th of July, and people notoriously, when they don't want to pay to go into the park or they don't want to bother going into the crowded park, a lot of people go to the Poly Beach to watch fireworks. 4th of July, they give out wristbands to people staying there, so people who aren't staying there don't take up the beach. This might have been before they did that. I don't know, but she was, this was New Year's Eve, but she had to park in the TTC parking lot because people had filled the Poly parking lot. So that's terrible.
Marianne, can't wait to have her on. We're going to have her on, right? Did you schedule her?
Yeah, very soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Mm-hmm. Joanne Butler, quick weekend trip with a friend for Mickey's 90th. Only planned on going to Magic Kingdom. Approached in the lobby while waiting to check in and was asked if we were celebrating anything. Mickey's 90th, of course, at the Magic Kingdom. The cast member excused herself and returned saying she had added Epcot to our My Disney experience and added the Hopper option. That evening in our room, we received a nice note. Oh my gosh, it just keeps getting better. Disney picture frame and Disney snacks. What a fun weekend. They didn't have to go to all that. They could have stopped at that. But they just kept adding stuff. I mean, that is so cool. That is so cool.
Yep. Sean Harder was at Disneyland. The first time he went to Disneyland, a cast member came up to my ex and I and started talking to us. I've always wondered why and can only conclude that she noticed my childlike awe and excitement. They eventually gave us special passes and seating for World of Color. So he got special seating at World of Color. That's cool.
Way to go, Sean. See? Keep acting like a little kid and you'll get all kind of stuff. See?
Childlike wonder. That's how I felt the first time I walked into Galaxy's Edge. I did. I was really excited.
It is pretty cool. Even though it's kind of small. It is kind of cool. I mean, the whole Millennium Falcon, the whole thing. I mean, it's just really cool. And I'm not a Star Wars fan, and I think it's just quite amazing, actually. Our friend Rick Forbes over from the Monorail Tales podcast, we booked a studio at Saratoga in January of 2023 with our DVC points because we were going to drive down to help our daughter move out of Flamingo Crossing when her first program ended. We ended up not going down, but she still needed the room for a night, so we didn't cancel the reservation. When she checked in, it was upgraded to a 2-bedroom villa for one person and not me. Well, those kids, hey.
Yeah. I stayed in a 2-bedroom at Saratoga last year. They're really nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're really nice.
No, I think Saratoga, a lot of people talk down about Saratoga, but Saratoga gets a lot of love. A lot of people love Saratoga. It's huge. That place is huge.
It is big. It's a big resort, but I find it very walkable. Like I was in Carousel, which is the furthest from the carriage house, the main building with it only took me 5 minutes to walk to the carriage house. It wasn't that big a deal.
Oh, much better than like Pop Century where you got to pack a lunch and waters.
I disagree about Pop Century too. I think Pop Century is actually a small resort. Really?
Maybe it was because when we were staying there, it was summertime and I had to cross that.
Probably.
We
have to cross the parking lot to get to the 90s and 80s section. The asphalt. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. I had rescue come find me because they're like, I was passed out on the ground halfway there to the car. I almost made it.
Our friend Andy Hoffman said in 2019, he was in town for work and extended the trip for a night. He booked Port Orleans French Quarter. The next day, I got a call asking me if I'd like a complimentary upgrade to Beach Club, which I gladly accepted.
Is that really an upgrade?
Yeah, to Beach Club?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never stayed at the Beach Club. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's right next to Epcot.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, a lot of people love Port Orleans French Quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess, you're right, because it's right there, and you're on the boardwalk, and the Epcot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Jackie Cole, another guest, gave Pixie Dusted her. They gave her a set of ears, and she sent a picture on our group. So if you want to join and see it, you can see the picture.
They're cute. They have Vanellope on them, and it says, "You're my hero." Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. Judy had very special pixie dust. Judy and Ken were at Disney for their 50th wedding anniversary, and she went to guest services to renew her annual passes. I had a little bit of credit from some tickets I had purchased for my son that we didn't use that I was going to apply to the annual passes to pay the balance. When I got my credit card out to make the payment, the cast member said, "Don't worry, the balance is on Mickey." So she got her annual pass upgrade from the day tickets for free because it was their 50th anniversary.
See?
That's pixie dust.
That's pixie dust. Deal. That's a nice pixie dust. Gina Simpson. In the before times, we got an upgraded room and chocolate-covered strawberries and white chocolate Mickeys delivered to our room at Boardwalk Inn. Several times recently, we've been upgraded from a studio to a 1-bedroom on DVC stays.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, where'd the chocolate strawberries? I mean, really? See.
They used to have that stuff. They used to deliver to rooms a lot of stuff.
Did they?
They used to have room service, which really only Grand Floridian has right now. Except the Swan and Dolphin does have it, but that's a different company. So
yeah, but they could have just stopped at the upgrade. But you know what I mean? But they went further and delivered chocolates and stuff to the room.
Right. I would have been happy with the upgrade.
Exactly. But they just went a step above.
Chocolate covered strawberries.
Above and beyond. Oh.
Greg Dome, I think I'm saying that right. He said, on a week-long trip with my parents, we got upgraded from a studio to a 2-bedroom at Saratoga Springs for free. I think with DVC, upgrades are a little more common. I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
Scott and Karen got upgraded a lot in 2020 when a lot of people weren't coming right after they reopened for the Great Unpleasantness. Scott and Karen, I know, got upgraded frequently at Saratoga because they just weren't filling the rooms because people weren't coming. So
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. They were, it seemed like every time they went. That's great. Jeff Molinterno, we've been pixie dusted more times than I can remember. From free Mickey bars to gift baskets to free park entrance to courtesy amphicar rides to room upgrades.
That's very cool. There was one time, we've talked about this on the show before, where Veronica and I were with our in-laws, and Veronica's aunt and uncle from Germany was with us, and we went into Nomad Lounge, and we were trying to get a table. It was back, you used to seat yourself back in the day. This was before, now they seat you, but back in the day, you just kind of walked in and hoped that somebody was getting up. Veronica saw this family getting ready to leave, and she went over and said, "Oh, are you getting ready to leave?" And she told them, "Oh, I have my mom and dad here, and my aunt and uncle from Germany. We're trying to show them a good time." And everything. So the lady said, "Oh yeah, we'll be done in a second." And they got up and left, and we went and sat down. And while we were looking at the menu and getting our order ready, the server brought over a bottle of champagne. The lady had said, "Wait until I'm gone and then give this to them." And we got a bottle of champagne for the table. Really nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
That was from, the lady in front of us. But sometimes, you can spread pixie dust without it being glitter. You can, you can get the person behind you's order or you could do things like that. Or, I've been in, I've seen, in Starbucks, if you have like a gift card, you can give it to somebody. But I'm not a fan of the glitter and the stuff that people leave hidden around the park. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, they kind of discourage that kind of thing. They tell you.
I'm not, and I've seen reports from people where people left things on people's strollers. And I think about the little kid who might put something in, the mom and dad doesn't even know if it was on the seat of the stroller, the kid might have got it, and mom and dad don't even know that they have this little toy in their hand and in their mouth.
Yeah.
That I'm not a fan of giving people's kids prizes or presents without mom and dad's knowledge. I have seen people at the end of their stay, if they have dining credits, sometimes, they'll find a family and say, "Hey, I have 6 dining credits, and if you go through line with me, I'll buy your lunch." That's nice. That's nice, but don't give somebody's kid a toy without telling mom and dad.
Yeah. Veronica is, that's one of her favorite things to do, is to help people. She has bought, she was in line, I think it was at, Be Our Guest, and I can't remember the story exactly, but I'll just do the best I can. She heard the couple talking about something that she wanted to try or something. I don't know. And ended up, Veronica went and bought it for her and had it delivered to her table. And she's always helping people. We just recently, I think on our last trip, we were walking through Toy Story Land, and she heard somebody say something, and she turned around and went over there and started helping them. And what is, didn't even overhear what they were talking about, but she heard them. And the couple was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And like, "What did you do?" "Oh, they just need a little help or something. I heard them say something. I wanted to help them." She does that all the time though.
Yeah. I miss, one of the things I miss most about the old fast passes, the old paper fast passes, was we would always grab a fast pass for something on our way out, like a good ride on our way out. And then we would, as we were leaving, we'd find a family and say, are you going in? Here, take these 4 fast passes for test track or something, and people were like, "Oh my God, that's so," yeah.
Yeah.
We used to do that all the time.
Yeah, constant. All the time we do that. We even used to, back in the day, we used to get a couple at the back of the line and give them our magic bands and let them go, go in.
Yeah. I remember one time we had fast passes for Frozen, and there was a family, and the father was miserable, and we took him with us on Frozen. And we took the family with us because we had people that didn't want to ride or something, and we had their magic bands.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't know what to say when you tell them that. Like, you're going to give me your
They
magic
think you're
pen?
trying to
Yeah,
scam
like you're trying to
something.
scam. I'm like, no, just take it. But you trust? I'm like, yeah, we're going to be waiting right here. When you get off, just bring it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
We used to love doing that. We would spend our whole day doing that sometimes, just as much as we could till we ran out of stuff. Here's the deed of my house. It's yours. Go ahead. It's yours.
No.
Yeah, it's pixie dust is cool. And when it happens, don't expect it. But if it does, I mean, it can and so many things just happen randomly, organically. Veronica hates when I say organically, but it does. I was in one of the stores on Main Street, and I had probably had my Oswald shirt on. This has been years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a cast member, and she goes, "Oh, you like Oswald?" I'm like, "I love Oswald. He doesn't get enough respect. Doesn't get enough." Yeah, people, they just kind of overlook him. And she goes, "Hang on a second." And she leaves. And it was an uncomfortable amount of time. She was gone forever. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to make small talk with the other cast member there. And it was like 5 minutes, then 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden she comes walking out and goes, "Oh my gosh, I found it." And she walks over and she hands me a Oswald pen. I'm not a big pen collector, but I'll take it because it's Oswald. And then, I had my son with me who, with these kids. And instantly he goes, "Let me see that pen." She starts looking it up online. Come to find out, it's like a rare Oswald pen. Wow. And the thing was worth like $90 or $100.
Oh, wow.
It was like a very rare one and people were looking for it. And I have no idea where it's at. Somewhere. I know I have it somewhere. Well, because we moved and the hurricanes and things get boxed up. But yeah, just random things like that happen. It wasn't in a package or anything. It was like, it wasn't like a brand new one. Like it was just.
Right. It might have been on her on a pinboard.
Yeah, maybe or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so thank you.
So David, I know we're wrapping up, but while we were talking, a request came in. They want your take on this news story. Did you hear about the child who fell overboard on the Disney cruise?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to read this article to you, okay? Child reportedly fell overboard on a Disney cruise and her dad jumped in after her. A horrifying moment aboard a Disney Cruise Line ship turned into an unbelievable rescue at sea after a child fell overboard and her father leapt in after her. On June 29th, the incident occurred on the Disney Dream when it was returning to Fort Lauderdale from a 4-night Bahamian sailing. First reported by The Street, the emergency code Mr. MOB, man overboard, rang out over the ship's intercom, signaling an urgent response. The crew aboard the Disney Dream swiftly rescued the 2 guests from the water. A Disney Cruise Line spokesperson told USA Today, "We commend our crew members for their exceptional skills and prompt actions." The girl fell from the 4th deck and her dad went in after her. I don't see how old the child is. So anyway, yeah. So
do you realize how high that is?
The 4th deck. Yeah.
How could they even survive that? I mean, that's up. I mean, these cruise ships are huge, and that's a long way down.
Treading water for 20 minutes.
Oh my God!
How did the kid? How old was this kid? Because if she must have been able to swim.
Oh, yeah, not like a little kid. Because and he must have jumped like right then. It's kind of like the guy did after his phone. He jumped in the water after his phone.
It's not immediately clear how the girl fell. Yeah, it doesn't say how old the girl was.
Yeah, how did she fall? How did she climb up? Or I don't know. I'd like to know how old she is. Yeah, I can't say anything negative about that. I mean,
okay.
I mean,
somebody wanted to know what your thoughts on the story were, so I.
Well, look, if you're gonna jump in after a cell phone, you better jump in after your kid. That's all I'm saying.
I'm looking at I have to see a commercial first because I'm waiting for a video of the rescue. Maybe I can see how big the kid is, but I have to sit through a commercial first.
Because those cruise ships are clipping along pretty good. So he had to have jumped in I guess I would have done the same thing. And I would have just jumped right away. Man, that's crazy.
I don't know how the kid fell overboard unless she was sitting on the railing.
I think what happened, and this could be wrong, but I'm kind of thinking it could have happened that they decided at some point, they got together and said, "Look, this is what we're going to do. 4 stories is not that big a deal. You just jump off. I'll jump in after you. And then we're going to get for sure the trip for free and probably a lifetime for free. Free cruises.
Yeah. Or a lifetime ban from Disney Cruise Line. I'm looking at a picture. You can't see the little girls. She's like hugging somebody. She doesn't look tiny, but she doesn't look like a teenager either. So maybe 7 or 8.
That's a long fall. And if you hit wrong, that could have been bad. Yeah. Either one of them. 4 stories up.
But they both okay. So
well, we're going to end on a great note because I'm glad they're both safe.
Yeah. So anyway, David, hopefully we'll have a guest soon. We have some guests lined up. I feel like I'm getting better every day. So thank you for all your well wishes, everybody. Everyone, I said. Everyone and everybody together became everyone.
Everyone. I like everyone.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Disney Crush podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
That's it. All right.
The key of truth has spoken.
Put a check on that. Can you do that, Dave? Can you put a check on that one?